Hello and welcome to IVCA Conclave 2017. I have with me Mr. Saurabh Srivastava. He is a Padma Shri awardee and chairman of the Indian Angel Network. So thank you so much for speaking to us. We are here today with Mr. Saurabh Srivastava. He's a pioneer. He has set up NASSCOM, he's set up IVCA, he's set up Indian Angel Network. So he's a man with a lot of experience and he's spared a few moments to speak to us. So what are your key takeaways from today's conclave that has been organized by IVCA?
I think the key takeaway is that this whole entrepreneurial ecosystem, particularly in terms of its challenges, the investment arena, government policies, all of that is beginning to come together. It's a very nascent ecosystem. Just go back 2 decades and there was almost no entrepreneurial ecosystem. Except for the IT sector, there was no sector where entrepreneurs were playing a key role. My own experience, since you mentioned that, was that in one phase we saw the whole entrepreneurial activity come alive. That was IT. 1988, when I founded NASSCOM, we were a $55 million industry. Last year, we hit $160 billion. 99% of the companies are first-generation founder created. But it was the only industry, and it did not grow. It did not succeed because there was venture capital. It succeeded for different reasons. From 2000, you started to have a different breed of entrepreneurs. But even in 2007 or 8, when I founded the Indian Angel Network, we used to see about 200 entrepreneurs every year make 1 or 2 investments. Last year, we saw 9,000 entrepreneurs made an investment every 12 days. Wow. Just like our software industry has become the largest in the world for IT services, right. Indian Angel Network has become the largest angel group in the world on all fronts. And if I come to venture capital, in IVCA, in our very early years, 99, 2000, we saw venture capital coming in, which was barely a couple of $100 million. Now we're routinely looking at 15 and 20 billion. So in our case, the connect that we wanted, the replication we wanted of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the US, for instance, is now beginning to happen. And what does that mean? It means that you need to have a lot of entrepreneurs who want to do a lot of innovative things. Right. They are not going to leave their safe jobs if they don't think there is somebody to finance them. So you need a lot of capital. There's a symbiotic relationship between the amount of risk capital available, angel, venture capital, and the number of smart people who will quit and take the risk. Right. They grow together. And you need an enabling policy framework which makes everything easy to do. And the last thing is you don't want all our startups to come up looking at markets outside India. You want huge domestic markets, which is why the US is what it is. It has a huge domestic market. That's beginning to happen. The enabling policy frameworks, sustained GDP growth, large growth in India itself as a market in many areas. So we're beginning to see, to me, the dawn of what we could actually become.
But we also see a lot of interest in tech startups, tech entrepreneurs, and we have the other brick and mortar businesses. You have social entrepreneurs who are getting slight attention now. In an ideal situation, if we were to really build that SME atmosphere, sir, we would need a balance of all.
So to some extent, if you look at venture capital, because it was largely born in Silicon Valley, it was very tech focused. But the reason why it's tech focused, because venture capital when it comes in is taking high risk. It needs at least when you put the thesis together, theoretically very high returns, because in angel investing or venture capital, 5 out of 10 investments will die. And so the ones that remain need to give you a higher return to compensate. So you have to invest in companies that are innovative and very high growth. That happens a lot in tech. Does not happen in all other industries. And that's why it's been mostly tech. Now that's true of the developed markets. If you look at us, we have so many unmet needs as a developing economy. And because we now have sustained GDP growth, we actually have tremendous growth in a lot of areas where the West does not see growth. I mean, you want to set up another food chain in the US, you need billions and billions to compete against all those that exist. You want to set up in India, you have Barista, you have Sagar, you have Nerula's, you have Cafe Coffee Day, you can come up tomorrow because there's room. So whichever way you look in India, not just technology, in education, in healthcare, in medical devices, we have lots of opportunities in areas other than tech. And so although venture capital came to India behind tech, today it is in many sectors. At the Indian Angel Network, our example, we must have done over 100 startups. We used to be 50, 60% one kind of tech and almost 30, 40% another kind of tech. We were almost 100% tech. Today, we must be less than half on tech.
And the rest would be?
Education, healthcare, chain of restaurants, boxed food, you name it, and we're doing it. And some of the best returns are not necessarily coming in tech. They're coming boxed food, great returns.
What challenges do you see, sir, in the, which are still there in the startup space, also entrepreneurship as a whole in India?
Well, some challenges have gone, courtesy people like you and others in the media, where you're beginning to celebrate entrepreneurs. Earlier, the only thing you would see in media is what was being done by the Ambanis or the Tatas or the Birlas. Now you see startups, unknown people. It's important for startups and being entrepreneur to be aspirational, like it is in the West. It's becoming that now. Earlier, people's aspirations would be, when they left college, is, well, I'll join the civil services or I'll go abroad, whatever, a fat job with a multinational. That's not true anymore. I mean, when I graduated out of IIT Delhi, out of 200 people, 198 went to the US. Some of us came back. In IIT Bombay, I was told last year, only 15% went out. 85% stayed here. And a large number of them are entrepreneurs. So you've got that beginning to happen, and I think that's a great piece. But we are not there yet because we don't have as many angel investors as we need. And although we get a lot of capital, venture capital, most of it is not in the startup space. You need a pyramid, maximum investment at the angel level, next highest at the early stage venture capital, then up, then up. We're a bit like this. That still has to be fixed. Government policies are getting far better, but there is some room to go.
Which areas do you think the government should focus on? Which areas should they stay out of and which can they improve?
Well, I think starting a company has been substantially easier. I think a little bit more work needs to be done. When a company fails, you need to be able to shut it. And when you're operating, you really do need much less work on compliances, because as a startup, you're short on people, you're short on money, you're competing against established players who have everything. You must be 120% focused on your business. If you focus 50% on compliances, you're dead. So we've talked about it, self-certification and compliances for 5 years. It's not all central government issue. A lot of it is a state problem. Yes. The central government today is phenomenal. It gets it, it's very focused, right from the Prime Minister down to every ministry. The states don't all get it. Some do,
Right.
but most don't.
There is no collective
And
action.
we need to kind of fix that. And because of that, you'll find that some states are moving far ahead of other states. So you're beginning to get within India a first world and a third world within the number of states.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.